Hey, since it's a Saturday night, want to hit up Club 1029? Lauren asked. Skye had heard of the trendy NYC nightclub, though she'd never been there. Dance clubs were not her thing, with the loud, vibrating music and crush of people, and the thought of getting hit on by strange men and fending off their advances was enough to make her shudder. She smiled, hoping she didn't disappoint Lauren too much. I think I'm just going to go home and read a book and relax. Lauren thought for a moment, then nodded. Actually, it doesn't sound like such a bad idea. I just didn't want you to think I was a boring date. Skye laughed. Trust me, I'm the boring one. She grabbed her purse from beneath the bar and stood up, then turned to head toward the exit. Too abruptly, she realized, as she bumped into a hard, broad chest. She stumbled back on her heels and stiffened as two big hands gripped her arms and kept her from falling on her ass. She managed to stifle the initial jolt of panic that shot through her at being grabbed so unexpectedly. PTSD at its finest, thanks to Jack, and blurted out an apology while staring at the man's throat. I'm so sorry. I wasn't paying attention. Skye. The man said just one word, her name, and his deep, husky voice stirred something intimately familiar inside of her. She jerked her head back and looked into seductive green eyes she'd never believed she'd see again. As if her thoughts had conjured him, Tripp Daniels stood in front of her, a sexy smile quirking up the corners of his lips. Her breath left her lungs in a rush as she stared at his handsome face in wide-eyed shock, which quickly gave way to something she hadn't felt in a very long time. Years, in fact. Undeniable desire. Instantaneous attraction. It all came flooding back, nearly overwhelming her, as if they'd never parted ways. The heat of his hands on her arms spread through her, and the gentle sweep of his thumbs on her bare skin made her shiver with pleasure. It was all she could do to keep her composure. Still stunned and flustered at their unexpected run-in, all she could manage was a squeaky, high-pitched, awkward, "Hi." So much for being cool, calm, and collected.
Light female laughter grabbed Tripp's attention and made him turn his head, but it was the woman's familiar profile that kept him riveted. Silky blonde hair cascaded down her back in soft waves as she chatted with the woman seated next to her, revealing a delicate silhouette he'd memorized years ago as she'd slept peacefully beside him, right before he'd made the decision to break things off with her. The slightly upturned nose, elegant cheekbones, and the sensual curve of her full lips. Yeah, those features were still emblazoned in his mind, no matter how hard he'd tried to forget her. Or maybe he was just projecting what he wanted to see. Was it Skye? Doubtful. Last he knew, she was living in Boston with her husband, probably with the 3 kids she'd wanted, and living a charmed life. Because seriously, what were the chances that they'd end up crossing paths in one of the hundreds of bars in New York City after 5 long years? But the more he looked and watched her, he caught little quirks that were uniquely Skye's. He recognized the way she dipped her head when she laughed, and those cute, fluttering hand gestures she made when she was trying to describe something. It was her. "You keep staring at that woman at the bar like you want to eat her for dessert," Tripp's friend said, his tone both amused and intrigued. "Maybe you should, before I do."